Hey guys, and welcome to Face of Fiction XO. My name is Melissa, and today we're going to be reviewing Crew by Tijan. If you have never read Tijan, she has several series. One is Fallen Crest High, Davy Harwood, what else? Broken and Screwed, I believe is the name. And there's several others, plus she has some standalone novels. And she has been around for a very long time. And she has a massive fandom. I was actually introduced to her by a coworker who absolutely adores her, and we read along the same type of books. And I picked up Fallen Crest High, and I've only read the first one of that series, and I've read some of her standalones. I'm trying to think. Hate to Love You, I believe, is one. Home Tears. I'm sure I've read more. I don't have a list in front of me, and she's wrote a crap load of books. But the most recent book that she has put out is called Crew, and it is, I don't want to say a spinoff of Fallen Crest, but it does involve, Fallen Crest is mentioned in the series. So I would imagine that if you've read Fallen Crest, there's probably some nods to that series. I've only read the first book, so I can't really say if it's a lot involved, but it does mention Fallen Crest and Fallen Crest High. So if you have read that series, you might pick up a lot more than I did. But basically the premise of the book, and it's actually going to be a brand new series for her, is there is a girl named Bren who is in what is called a crew. And basically a crew, in my opinion, is another word for a gang in that type of area. Basically, you're in a group of people that watch your back. You know, you're one. Like, you move as one. If someone disrespects you, you know, they pay for it. The crew carries it out. So Bren is like the only girl that's in a crew. So is it Rousseau too? In Rousseau? I'm probably really mispronouncing that. I probably mispronounced the author's name too. So if you are watching, I'm extremely sorry. I did try to watch a video of how you said her name, and I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm from the South, and we tend to put a lot of extra letters and extra words, and sometimes things don't get pronounced the way they should. So Bren is in a crew. She's in a crew with her best friends. Her best friends since being a child, Cross, Zelman, and Jordan. And it's cute because it's kind of like a girl with three best guy friends, only she's really kick-ass and they're ready to brawl at any moment. Bren's brother is Channing. Channing has another crew, and Channing is known to be a big fighter, very tough. He takes care of the town. So his crew is known to be pretty tough. So to some extent, Bren is protected because of Channing. To some extent, Bren is protected because of her crew. There is another crew in town called the Ryersons, and basically they are run by the Ryerson family. They've always been led by a Ryerson. At one time, it was led by Drake, who dated Bren. And Drake actually went out of the crew system, like he moved away and completely dropped being a crew. So his younger brother Alex picked up the slack. So Alex is now in charge of crew, or of the Ryerson crew. So there's the three crews, and they play a big part in the story. So, you know, it involves in high school, and obviously you have all that high school drama, but basically Bren keeps getting harassed by Alex, who's in charge of the Ryerson crew. So there's a lot of conflict that's happening between the two because of Bren and Alex's demeanor towards her. And usually it happens when he's drunk, which is no excuse because, you know, really what he does borders on sexual assault and sexual misconduct. I mean, I did not like Alex at all. To me, Alex didn't have very many redeeming qualities. But I will say, no, I will leave that for later because I don't want to spoil anything. So let me get through the storyline and then I'll get towards the end. And of course, if you want to continue watching the end, go for it. But if not, if you don't want any kind of hint, you can cut it off. But there is friction between the Ryerson crew and the Wolf crew, which, funny enough, when I first picked up this book, I honestly thought it was about werewolves because the crew is called the Wolves. So I thought for sure that it was a werewolf book. It's not. Just so you know, if you're going into it like that, it's not. Still a good book, but not a werewolf book. So there is friction. Bren, and a lot of that carries over into other parts, like in school. And the school scenes, I'm assuming that the school's a little bit more urban, and by the way they talk about the town, I feel like this town might be a little more run down and more, I don't want to say poverty stricken, but a little bit more prone to criminal activity, which is why some of the school scenes happened. Things that when I went to school would not have been acceptable by any means for anyone involved. So I had to kind of keep in mind that, you know, it's a world. It may not be this particular world, but it's a form of this world. So you can't sit there and pick it apart, because if you pick the story apart, you're not going to enjoy it. Anyway, so there is a lot of conflict between the crews, and in between all this conflict, there is a slow burn romance, and it's between Bren and a character whose name I don't want to mention, because although it's obvious when you're reading the book, I still don't want someone going into the book knowing who she's going to be with. So amongst all of this drama and the romance, Alex's cousin Race comes into town, and you come to find out Race does not like Alex at all. He doesn't like that family. He is against the Ryerson crew. He wants nothing to do with them. He will do anything possible to destroy them. So he takes an interest in the Wolf crew, which again causes more friction. You know, there's layers upon layers upon layers, and it's a very, the only way I can really put it is, you know how some books have that city vibe? One of the easiest ones I can sit there and think of is Marrow by Taryn Fisher. Not necessarily a city, but a desolate kind of downturned town, I guess. That's how I see the town in this book, which may completely be off, you know, but that's how I saw it in my head. I was like, you know, I totally see it being kind of run down, you know, kind of low class, you know, because you have the higher ups of Fallen Crest, and then you come down here and it's kind of slumming it, I guess is the best word for it. But you're dealing with all these conflicts, and it basically comes down to the very end when Alex does something absolutely horrendous, and there has to be a choice made whether they will kill Alex or not. And it says a lot about the characters in the book and their choices when it comes down to the very end. I'm not going to say what it is, but just know that, you know, that happens. And you realize a big theme of the story happens to be safety and protection for the character of Bryn. There is a backstory to Bryn where she was not in control and she had to try to fight back, and someone ended up helping her and got hurt in the process, and she's basically been alone. So history is almost repeating itself, and she is definitely frightened at the very end of that happening. And then there's a little twist when it comes to the Ryerson crew. A new leadership, and basically a stepping stone into the next book. I hope that this made sense, because the way I'm trying to describe it, it's just, there's so much. There truly is so much. Like, you can tell this is the first book in a series because of the fact that there's so much that's covered and creamed in, and you have to like really pay attention because you know that they're building on something. Like, this is the foundation to a series, and I deeply anticipate that the series is going to be very good, because of the way everything was built up and the way it ended. When I first started this book, I wasn't sure that I was going to like it. I haven't liked all of this author's books, I will be honest, but this particular book I kept reading, and I was so glad that I kept reading because I absolutely loved it. I really did. There was some characters I liked more than others, obviously, and I really hope that as the story progresses, I get to see more of the characters and their backstories, particularly Taz, who is Cross's sister. I would love to see kind of a spin-off book with Taz and her love interest, because I thought that that was a very interesting turn of events. And so I saw the ending. This is the part where if you do not want to know anything about the book, you should probably just turn this off. But I totally saw the ending coming. Like, I knew the minute that they were like, we hear a voice, you know, something has changed. I knew who the new leader was going to be. And that delighted me because I'm all about the drama. And I feel like that's going to put a very interesting, what am I trying to say? A very interesting turn in Bryn's relationship with her boo. I like the fact that Taz got with who she did, because I really kind of wanted her to be with someone in the crew. I really did. I'm really disappointed in Jordan's character. Like, I really hope that his character redeems himself as the books go on, because right now he's definitely not my favorite. Zelman is definitely the comic relief of the bunch. I hated Alex, although I kind of do hope that he is featured in later books that maybe, I don't know, put him in a better light or make him even worse, because, you know, he's the perfect fall guy. Sunday, and I don't remember the other girl's name. I feel like it was like a dessert, but I can't. Tippy, I don't know. But the two girls that Taz kept hanging out with that was always giving Bryn a hard time, like, so yeah, if you haven't read this book, you definitely should. If you're reading this book and you feel like maybe it's not for you, I would definitely recommend that you just keep reading. I really was skeptical about this book at first, and then I I really enjoyed it. And I probably would have DNF'd it if I hadn't pushed myself to keep reading it. Is it my favorite by her? No, I don't think it is. But it has potential. It has a lot of potential. And I'm super excited to see where this series goes. And it's definitely made me want to continue reading The Fallen Crest High to see, you know, how it correlates to this series. So if you've read Fallen Crest, let me know down below, and definitely tell me like if there were certain things that maybe I missed that kind of went with the other series. Also, if you've read this book, let me know what you think about it. And if you've read her other books, let me know which book I should probably read, because I think the only ones I've really read are Fallen Crest High. I started Evil. I couldn't get into Evil. Started Home Tears. Couldn't really... I've gotten halfway through Home Tears. I'm kind of like, I've read Hate to Love You. And I feel like I've read something else, but I'm not sure. I've read a lot of books. So just let me know down below. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe. Hopefully, you know, like I've said, I've tried to be a little bit better about posting regularly. So if there's a certain book that you want me to read and review, let me know. But otherwise, until next chapter. Bye, guys. Can we talk a minute about hair? And how my hair is never gonna do what I want it to do or be pretty. Like, how do people find the perfect haircuts? I don't know. It's always been a mystery. Like, I don't get it. I don't get hair. Like, I can do makeup. I love makeup. But hair, I don't understand. And I've had this weird consistency of hair all my life. Like, it's wavy, but it's like not pretty wavy. I've like made jokes that it looks like a homeless crackhead mermaid, but it seriously does, like, sadly. So I literally just learned how to lock my camera in to focus. Isn't that sad? Like, I've had it for like a year and this is the first time. And I have a monitor now, so I've been like literally taking, and this mirror's like really dirty. I've been taking this mirror and like sticking it behind the camera so I could see like the picture in the back to make sure like I was in the frame. Yeah, that's what we do when we're broke. But you might notice the background behind me is different, and it's just because we had to fix the thing that my background goes on, and my husband actually built it out of PVC pipe. My husband is seriously talented in many ways. Just kidding. But he built a background for me so I could hang whatever I want, and it's like super sturdy because we were looking at the ones on Amazon. And yeah, I would like to put whatever I want up there and not have to be like limited to like curtains. Which brings up another point, that I bought this background from Wish. Yeah, it totally wasn't what was pictured and it looks awful. So I don't know, I'm gonna do something with it. I just haven't figured out what. Can I just say like how amazing this mascara is? Like, not so much like the mascara portion, but the color. It's the Sinful Colors, and it's the blue one. And I have really like dark eyelashes, and look at how bright the color is on them. Like, it's insane. So good job, Sinful Colors. If you're looking for a colored mascara, definitely pick theirs up, because if it shows up like this on my eyelashes, imagine what it's gonna look like on your eyelashes.